Hello, guys. So I'm going to list 3 things I'm terrified of in this world. It's corn mazes, chainsaws, and clowns. Oh, no. So I had a really fun time watching this at South by because I was just terrified. And so I didn't know, I knew about 2 of the 3, and I was like, okay, didn't know about the chainsaws. So I wanted to ask you guys, if you had like a trifecta of things that were in a horror movie that you were like, yeah, I'm going to just be scared the entire time because these 3 things are on them. Yeah. Do you guys have those kind of fears as people who have like worked in this genre? Mm-hmm. Yes. What are yours?
Here, the mic right down there.
I have an irrational fear of spontaneous combustion.
Oh, so you didn't like
So-
that movie that came out like 3 years
No,
ago?
because that shit happens. People just explode. Yeah, it can happen. You could just spontaneously go at any time. Yeah, I don't know, man. You leave behind a big mess. Family's really upset.
Nothing to bury.
Other than that, I'm cool with everything.
That is a very specific, possibly apocryphal fear that you have.
It could be anything. I just specifically had 3 things with this movie.
I mean, collectively, we can come up with 3. I don't like elephant seals, and I don't think that gets enough play. I don't know if anyone's looked at pictures of elephant seals. They're always bloody. They're just destructive animals. They're so angry. They're the size of a bus. Yeah, they have the snot, or the snout. They not only are they fast and they're aggressive and will kill you, but they also, their skin has so much bacteria on it that even if you survive, you're dying a terrible death of like bacteria poison. They are the worst animals. I've never seen one in real life, but anytime I've seen pictures online, I'm like, oh God, that shouldn't exist.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a movie idea for somebody.
Yeah.
And you won't be in it.
I mean, to get the word out, I will sacrifice myself to get people to know a little bit more about how dangerous elephant seals are.
There we are. Good for you. Good for you. You know, I'm going to follow a similar trajectory, Aaron. And for me, it's what you cannot see that truly scares me. No, but I'm going into a similar place. So spending time in Australia, they told me that at nighttime, when I'd be walking to my tent because I was camping outside, that there were these giant lizards called goannas, and they can't see anything. So they go towards what they hear, and if they try to climb you, then there's so much bacteria in their claws that you will die very, very quickly just from the bacteria in their claws. But then I revisited it when I was in Australia shooting last time, and I made friends with the goannas. And so they never tried to climb me. They did climb a tree next to me, and I said, "Go, buddy, you could do it." But so I dealt with my fear. But yeah, things I can't see.
My new fear is Kevin as some sort of master of goannas who can control an army of goannas.
He's not helping me want to go to Australia.
No,
either.
also
I was
Australia
like,
in
I don't
general.
wanna go to
They were
Australia.
around us all the time. So like you had to make peace with the goanna.
You can't make peace with those.
New nightmare.
Is that something you're born with?
The ability to speak to the
Goannas, we got elephant seals.
do you have a non-animal?
Nope. That's beautiful. But I have I have a fear of an animal, but it's kind of simple. I don't like crocodiles. Are really creepy to me. They have like any animal that has a very passive eyes. I don't like birds. I don't like sharks. I don't like crocodiles. And I feel
Sharks
like
are dead in the eyes. And that's
exactly,
terrifying.
yeah. Their little beady eyes. And they want you dead so bad. And they also have the thing where they like to pickle you. So after they kill you, they drag you to the bottom of the swamp and they let you rot there. And then they want to eat you. Anyway.
Yeah, if you were a crocodile, that's how you would do it. Well, great. Now I have so many more fears outside of
The National Geographic.
These 3 animals joining forces is big trouble.
Yeah, so in Clown on a Cornfield too, it's just those 3.
We have so much more to write. This is going to be great. We got the next 6 books.
Well, I was going to ask, especially from the creative process, a movie like this reminds me of, a lot of those movies in the 80s that were based in like the small town where everyone kind of knew of this one thing, but the new people were left out in the dark and no one warned them.
That felt like the 80s to me. That was my 80s childhood.
You just went to a random town and a bunch of clowns killed some people.
Being left out in the dark and wondering how I get home because I've lost the address. I don't have a dime for a call. So that's how old I am. Yeah, no, this was a throwback movie to like those fun 80s slasher films. And I was like rewatching the original Friday the 13th and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. And then I'll always watch Evil Dead 2 just for the hell of it. I'll throw that in there. And then it was sort of modernized with a little bit of Scream. So I think Adam and I have a similar taste, and we were watching similar slasher movies, and we just kind of wanted to be the entryway, the sort of gateway fun slasher movie that I would have watched when I was a kid. If you're 13, 14, 15, you cannot see this movie. But you should.
You can't have a guy's really
That's
cool at
the
the
whole
movie
point.
theater and let's
By
do it.
saying you can't see this movie. You guys just have to figure out a way. Yeah, it's just a fun movie that like is also kind of a gory blast.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking for.
I agree, and I also love that in this movie there's like a real father-daughter dynamic, and it's not like a lot of horror movies they'll kind of throw it in there as like an afterthought, but it is very important to these two characters throughout the movie. What was it like growing that? Because we meet it at a tense point, but you can still feel the love between the two characters throughout the entire movie, even though it's not exactly the best relationship at the start.
Exactly that. Yeah, I think it was important for us to that it felt like a healthy relationship, and they're both going through their individual struggles, but they have a quiet understanding of each other, and they want to be there for each other, and they want to love each other, especially in such a hard time. But I see so many horror movies, like you said, where it's like they have this really tempestuous relationship, and I just kind of didn't want it to be that. I wanted it to feel lived in and funny and goofy.
Yeah, and that's easy to do with Katie, and the source material also. I mean, it starts with that, and I just think that we meet them at this very interesting part where there's been their fresh start, moving to a new town, trying to put certain things behind them without really talking about it properly.
Yeah, not well.
And so there's a lot of unspoken, interesting stuff that I think gets nice to lean in a little bit. And they're fun, lovely, goofy people. So there's. I don't know if that was captured on camera. But yeah.
It's
not helping.
So much fun. Oh my gosh. Well, Kevin, I was gonna ask you. You have apes, vampires, and clowns, all within the last like.
I'm sweating. What?
I said you've had apes, clowns, and vampires all within like the last year.
Right.
So, what's what do you want to continue with the like weird things that people maybe don't like hanging around for a long period of time?
Well, we've got a lot of crazy. Yeah. I was shooting a movie in my hometown of Thunder Bay, Ontario, recently in 42 Below, a movie called Ithaca, and they didn't want to tell people what the movie was about. So, and back home, like people know who I am because I was born and raised there, and I'm very proud to be a Thunder Bayite. I wish it was Thunder Bayman. Oh, that's so much cooler than Thunder Bay. Anyways,
This is your chance to
yeah. Let's start. Anyways, let's keep moving on here. So the director started telling people that that it was a movie about Sasquatch and that I was Sasquatch, and I mean maybe that needs to be done, but it wasn't what we did. Yeah, but maybe that's.
They're making fun of you a little bit. I'm getting defensive on you.
I am what I am, Aaron. If I have some kind of lineage to the great Sasquatch, I love the Sasquatch like I love the goanna now, and you need to make peace with the what was it the tiger seal?
Elephant.
What was it?
Elephant seal.
The elephant seal. This is what we're going to do. Anyways,
So
maybe Sasquatch.
this entire conversation has made me wonder how did you guys get anything done? Anything?
You have to call action, and you give them lines, and then you just be surprised. They just kick right in. You never said action.
That's right. I just jumped right into asking questions. Well, I do love I love a horror movie like this because, like I said, I'm terrified of clowns, which I think is a universal fear that people have. For you guys with the creating something like this, was it always going to be that they were a clown killer because we've had so many things in media? I know it's based on the
Yeah.
I was like, I know it's based on the book.
I can
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it literally started with a title. It was always going to be a clown, and then so I wrote the books. There's 3 books now. I'm writing a 4th one, so I'm invested in Friendo. But it was always going to be a clown, but I just wanted to subvert expectations from the book cover. Like, it's a clown in the cornfield, which sounds like it's going to be like a Stephen King riff, a Stephen King like mashup, and we've even, on the book cover we use the Stephen King 80s font. So all the way, even from like the title to the cover to like the first chapter, I wanted every little piece, every 10 pages, I wanted it to be like a subversion of your expectation. So it's, instead of a clown, it's a mass slasher story. It's not someone in clown makeup, until there's parts. But that's neither here nor there. But it's like, it's a mass slasher story. Oh, it's not supernatural because people are thinking it. People are thinking Children of the Corn. Just wanted to kind of subvert those expectations, literally from before you even picked up the book, when you just saw it in a bookstore. And then I think the beauty of the movie is that it continues that. It keeps you on your toes. There's a twist more than every act, which is great, which is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, the movie's called Clown on a Cornfield, and I get it, but like there's a lot more. There's a lot more happening. There are twists. There are twists every few seconds. No, there are great twists, and I do feel like it's a movie where you don't quite know where it's going, and part of that subversive is what you were talking about, is that it's on its face it looks very like just bold and upfront, but it's actually hiding a lot of and pulling a lot of it back.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I love a good slasher, but I like that this one, like you said, continually keeps us on our toes. We never quite know where the next clown's popping out of. And so for you 3, I want to know, when you guys are working on something like this and you have those jump scares, how was it getting to kind of bring those to life? Because I know it's not as fun as sitting in a theater and watching it, because you guys have to, you're acting, when all of it's coming. But what was the most fun part about working on those kind of jump scares?
Oh, I think that's why working with horror is so great, because you can be so creative and you can be like super emotional, and then laugh like right after. But I think it was, for the most part, I as an actor, I work reactively, so I was pretty in it. But I don't know, in your clown experience.
No, that's right. I think that, it's a reactive job, and so they're giving you so much to play with, and it's a great playground. And I think all of us it's like a bit of fantasy camp where we grew up with slasher films, and they were like a part of my childhood, and they like taught me that fear isn't bad. Like, fear can be fun, and fear can be all these other things, and so they're kind of important, I think, and why they have this huge staying power. And so to be a part of one or be inside one is really, like, was kind of joyous.
Yeah. And what about you, Kevin? How was it getting to, work with the jump scare of it all and, like, feel out in acting-wise? Because I know what it feels like as an audience member watching one, but I don't know the reverse.
It's people have been trying to scare me for a really long time. I'm just very calm.
Not even the iguanas could get you.
I'm a very calm person. I'm a very happy person. But what I do for a living is I enjoy eliciting the greatest emotional, physical response from other human beings. So whether that's me going like that, or no, wait a second, or if it's me telling you the truth and saying, look at your outfit, you look amazing. You look amazing today, right? And you do look amazing, right? It's like, for me, it's just connecting with humans and getting dopamine hits off of whether it's like loving you or scaring the shit out of you.
I 100% get it.
You know,
so for my last question, I want to ask all of you, because we have to discuss it. What is it about clowns that is terrifying? Like, I know the John Wayne Gacy of it all. I know it and all of those things. But why have we as a collective society decided it's clowns?
In ancient Egyptian days, we had clowns that were the entertainers, and then they morphed into the jesters, kind of, and they were like the truth tellers, but they were there was this duality to clowns where they could tell the truth to the king through humor. and maybe not to get their heads chopped off. So I feel like there's always been this area in every culture. There's a clown type persona. There's different ones for different cultures. But I love it because there's something so primal in a clown. You have these exaggerated features, a huge smile, big eyes, huge eyebrows. And it goes back, if you've ever seen a 2-year-old baby looking at a clown, they're so intrigued, and they'll smile at first, and they'll laugh, and that laughter will turn to crying in a moment's notice. And so I think our human brain is somehow captivated by clowns. Boom, dropping the mic.
Oh my God.
You get it. You nailed it.
My God, that is so good.
He nailed
It's so true.
It is.
It's so true.
Before
That's
I
so
leave, I
good.
have to say, Kevin, I've talked to you before, but I've never brought up how much I love Lost. And
Oh.
so I wanted to just ask you very quickly, how's it
Thank
been, in the streaming world, seeing how many people keep interacting with that show and coming up with theories, even though it's been done for almost like 20 years at this point?
Yeah, I mean, people still come up to me, like really angry with what I did. Like they're really hurt that I did what I did. But I mean, I was just doing my job. You know?
You're like,
if I didn't do what Charles Widmore had asked me to do, then my family would have perished. So I needed to eradicate all the other families apparently in order to get back to my family. A guy's got to do what he's got to do. So I love you, Losties, so much. I love you so much. Keep coming and yelling at me. I'm not scared.
As we've learned, you're not scared of anything. Well, thank you guys so much for talking with me. I love this movie, even though it made me terrified the entire time, and I can't wait for everyone else to get to see it. Thank you.
Go see the movie May 9th in movie theaters. It's freaking amazing. Let us scare you and entertain you.
Now your turn.
Cosign.
More of that.